Then you.
Hello.
Hi.
I just want to share something. While I was sitting, I could see that a lot of my anger comes when I see that things are always put in a relationship. One thought here and thought there, and they are put together.
Just for fun, what happens when you call it my anger? Anger comes, but because there's a putting together, the same thing you're talking about calling it my.
Yeah, that's true. Somewhere I get trapped.
Yeah. And even that, like this the sense of being trapped happens, but is it real? Is there really a trap? Is there really an I? Or are those just figments of?
Yeah, in a sense, there is the
Yeah,
belief that there is an I.
yeah, yeah, and that the I is trapped.
Yeah, yes. Uh,
Yeah, and interesting. It's just these little movements that happen and then they disappear again. They're not, it's fun to explore them and inquire into them as they arise. It's not about trying to stop anything rising. It's just as things rise, inquiry happens and we get to laugh.
yeah, that's what I could see the last weeks. That I could see, oh, there is a lot of distraction on the one hand.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, it had nothing to do with the awareness.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was
Exactly.
curious. Yeah, it was. Mm.
Going deep with that, noticing, okay, distraction happens. Who does that or how does that happen?
It happens just by itself.
Exactly. Nobody does it. It happens by itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see. Of course, there comes often a wish that it shouldn't happen or that it should
Yeah.
finish finally. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that is a thought. That's all it is. It's
Yeah.
not
And
more.
yeah. And
Yeah.
this is clearly what is in initiating. Is this the right word? The suffering,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yes.
suffering and the fighting. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just based on a thought. That's all. Awareness is untouched.
Yeah, it's good to speak about this. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No right, no wrong, just a gentle inquiry, just a gentle noticing. Okay, yes, there is awareness. Yes, thoughts come and go. They're not real.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Right.
Hi, can you see me?
Perfect.
Okay. I wonder why I can't see you.
Okay. If you click on my picture, there's usually three
Oh,
little dots in the
oh,
top right
you,
hand corner, and there you can put it.
I didn't do anything, but it happened anyway.
Okay.
I think I have something to tell or ask about. Maybe something in the conversation you just had, because all this, I don't know if it silence in me, but no, it seems like I'm in this silence. And then just the other day, I didn't yell at my wife, but I was harsh. Um, we're living in a community where we can go out of our door and people are living on top of each other, and then someone wants to vote about that we should pay 1,000 extra kroners to have that piece of grass to walk out in. But I don't have the money. And so they was like, it's a kind of fair or not fair that you can walk this grass or not. So, and then my wife said in the middle of those people, well, I agree that it's unfair that we can go out on this piece of grass. And then suddenly I found myself, uh, well, not in, I mean, it was on agreement with my wife. And afterwards, I told her in a very harsh tone, "You're not allowed to go to next meeting. I will do that. Or if you do, you go. You'll pay for the extra thing." But the interesting part was that I was saying it in a harsh tone, and the extra interesting thing was that something in me was telling me, "Where does that come from? That this
Mhm.
harshness?" I,
Mhm.
I, I there was a voice in me telling, you should be better because you're so, I don't know, spiritual, or some idea that I shouldn't be harsh.
Mhm.
It was just like it was popping up, this burp, and afterwards it was like, what's this? And I shouldn't be like this.
Mhm.
And then I was just, my wife said, you don't have to be this harsh. And I said, of course, I don't have to, but it's there.
Mhm.
And then it was, yeah, quite funny afterwards. I don't know why it's funny. It shouldn't be funny, but I found it funny because where is it coming from? I don't know. It's
Mhm.
just like it's not me. It's just, hmm, yeah. Yeah, this idea that I shouldn't be harsh is like, I don't know, I don't, hmm, maybe it was a little bit of frustration about, I don't have money. I feel rich, but I don't have money.
Mhm.
And my wife doesn't like to be on agreement. I don't know the word in English. She doesn't like to, I mean, she said, no, I don't, we don't have the money, but then we have to find them because I don't like people to be angry at us or me. And I don't mind. Not that I want people to be angry at me, but if, I mean, what can I do? I don't have the money. And I mean, it was a kind of, it just happened that the
Mhm.
garden is out there. And if I have plenty of money, I like to give when I have, but when I
Mhm.
don't have, I find it some sort of like it, when I don't have the money, it's for me, it's not intelligent to say, then I'll give it because where I mean after the corona and
Mhm.
I mean I'm on minus. I'm giving massage and they closed me for I don't know how long and so that's a minus within a minus. Hmm. I don't know what I'm asking about. Well, maybe it's in me that it's okay that there comes this harshness out.
Okay, so harshness came. It came by itself. Laughter then came, and then some thought about harshness all came, and the thought I was harsh. So in some ways, like a distinction, the difference between I I was harsh, I acted harsh, harshness appeared. They're different, right?
Yeah.
I forgot to switch on those lights. Can you just switch on that one? That one and this one. I forgot to switch them on. Thanks. And that one too. Yeah, so harshness can come, it comes from nowhere, and then sometimes it if there's some identification and it's I'm harsh. So like, wow, out of nowhere harshness arose. And for me, the moment it's we look through the filter, like I'm harsh, it gets in the way of really seeing clearly what actually
Mhm.
arose or how it arose. So harshness happened, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
that's
somehow, like you tracked and you could see, wow, it has something to do with, okay, people want money and I don't have it. It's like that. And then also you have a partner, and for them, uh, it touches something in them. and whatever the dynamic that plays between the two of you, dynamics with dynamics. It's just like all of it is nothing in some sense.
Yeah, and maybe well, the fastness of the drama vanished quite quickly, because it was something in me was clear that I was not harsh. It just popped up,
Came up by itself. Yeah.
and I I didn't want to look at why I was harsh, because I mean it would be quite quickly to find out, but it didn't really mean anything.
Exactly.
So it seems like being me as me vanishes things away, which shows up. Not that I'm doing anything to do it. I don't. It's
Mhm.
it's it's like I'm nothing, but I am. I mean, it's some sort of like a contradiction melding together, and that's what I am. Mm, it feels like a clear dream state, but there's no dream here. Raw. Yeah. Mm, thank you. Mm.
I think, can you mute yourself again, please? Yeah, perfect. Thanks.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi, who is speaking? Philomene.
Hi.
Great, that's you.
So,
Hi.
hi. I have a question. So, we talked about things happen from itself, but positive and negative. And I thought the I am is love and light. So, is everything that comes from positive and negativeness then the ego, or how shall we see this?
Yeah, so we say positive and negative, but that's like somehow putting something on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, of course, that can happen. But where does that come from? Usually conditioning or
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's just a filter, not can come.
Mm.
But
But
if we really look at it, good and bad, positive or negative are thoughts, really.
and there's judgment then, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the more we are the I am, the purer we are, and there is no, yeah, there's happening more love and light, I guess.
Yeah,
Being,
but in a way, it's like we really are that.
yeah.
Yeah. So this idea of the more we are that,
Yeah.
that's like
I see. I see. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And so yes, in that which we are, positive and negative, good and bad, those thoughts arise. If we ask who's aware of it, the only answer is I am. And then we see, okay,
Mm.
those are just ideas, nothing to do anything with. Just see them. They're not real. They're not made up of anything true. It's just
Yeah. Yeah. So it's clearing up the fantasies.
yeah.
Yeah.
And just the clearing up is just seeing them in the moment.
Seeing,
It's
yeah.
like we it's not like we have a big job to clear out or anything like that. It's just like things come up and inquiry happens and you see it.
Yeah. It's very clear now. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Isaac,
There you go.
here's some clarification needed somehow. What I understood or what needs clarification for me, maybe it's a language, but there was spoken by Philomene that there is the I am, and when you ask, so who is aware, the answer is I am, but it's not the I am, it's I am aware, and I am awareness, so you could say actually. So, because sometimes seems to be a confusion that there is something like an I am. Do you get what I?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if we have to just speak it very simply, we would just say am.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. And anyway, then we could shut up. Actually.
Yeah, more and more these days, I see I actually don't have anything to say.
Yes. So.
It's just like
Yes.
for a while, I loved, like sitting down and putting down some thoughts to put on Facebook or whatever. And now it's just like if I see a nice quote by someone, I put it. But I have nothing to say. It's really
Yeah, I fully understand.
yeah,
Yeah, and sometimes it comes, there's something to say, and then it drops away
yeah,
again. So yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but because I notice sometimes in the meetings with people that there seems to be some goal to reach an I am or an I am state or whatever, yeah, which is this is it. Yeah, so thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Rishi.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks. Is that Aisha? Is that your pen? Hi.
Hi, hello. It is really nice to be here with you. I've got a question about trauma from childhood because
Okay.
mm, I went through a lot of different therapies, and I had to release my pain from body and so on. But from actually from any religion or maybe some gurus says that it is enough to meditate or it is enough to pray, but for me it didn't work. So I needed to, release it, and I can't match all these words from gurus that say it is enough to meditate, and for me, I don't know how to connect these words with my experience.
Yeah, I understand. If we look together, what is trauma?
For me, for my experience, it is emotions that I couldn't solve when I was a child, and
Okay.
thanks to therapy, I could, see this and release these emotions and tension in my body.
Yeah.
So
you could
that's
say
my definition.
you could say, okay, so one way we can say it, it's like old information that has not become conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that colors the moment, because somehow, especially with trauma, very often it feels existential, like it feels as if our survival is threatened from the perspective of the memory of the trauma information. It feels as if our life is threatened, and so our nervous system goes into survival, fight, flight, or freeze. And yet, if we look rationally, we can see actually at this moment there is no actual danger. This is a memory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's a story that gets used that maybe you can relate to. So, if you went abseiling or climbing or something, and you used a rope for that adventure, and then you came home and you were really tired and you threw the rope in the corner of your room, and then in the middle of the night you woke up and you looked and you saw something, and it looked like a snake, and then you quickly turned the light on and you saw, oh, it's not a snake, it's a rope.
Yeah.
At that point, do you have to work on your fear of snakes, or just seeing that it's a rope is enough?
I guess it is enough to see the rope. However,
It's a rope, yeah. So in that moment, you see, okay,
yeah.
it's a rope, yeah. And then you can go back to sleep. You don't even have to move the rope. You don't have to do anything. Somehow you see, okay. So now, when we're dealing with what we call trauma, or what I said was old information that hasn't integrated. Somehow, it was too much for the system, for our nervous system at the time. And so our nervous system didn't process it, didn't know how to deal with it.
Yes.
So for me, that's what trauma is. It's like there was an overload, something happened, and our system, in order to survive it, checked out. And because it was never processed, it keeps coloring the present moment.
Yes, exactly.
So at some point we recognize, wait, there's something going on here that's troubling. And of course there's an interest to bring it to peace. And very often, like, you need another source, like a therapist, somebody that you feel safe with, where that can come into consciousness, and you can see how it's a rope, it's not a snake.
Okay.
So that can happen if you have someone who's really skilled and can assist. But I've also seen people get re-traumatized if the person that they're working with is not skilled.
So there is something like releasing emotions, because that's my question. Why gurus don't say about it?
Yeah, so you see, to me, it's like if I look at the basis of every therapy, it's loving presence. And in that loving presence, integration can happen. Sometimes with exploring, sometimes without, just by itself.
Okay.
So there is no rule. I don't think there's a rule. There's for you found therapy useful. Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, when you talk about therapy, there's so many different kinds of therapy and so many different
Yeah. Yes.
so
Okay.
like to me, it's say like even if you've done therapy, there's so many different layers of trauma, because we carry trauma from many generations back too. We know that now. But actually, we carry trauma, can be from when we were in the womb, can be from our parents, our grandparents, I mean, many, many different, you could say, pockets of information.
Yeah.
And so, for sure, as our capacity to be quiet deepens, more of that is going to show itself and come into consciousness, which is automatic. It will happen. So what I found is like, okay, if we notice that our system has gone into a trauma response, in other words, we're functioning as if our survival is being threatened. For me, it's really useful to check and see, is there real danger in this moment? Just to really check it for ourselves and see, okay, is there an actual danger right now? And if we can see there isn't, then we know, okay, what we're dealing with is trauma, old information. There's nothing that's actually threatening us in the moment. Once we can see that, then we can very gently just thank this trauma information for, we can look and see it's trying to help us. It's actually trying to help us survive. It's not wrong, it's not bad. But what we're just looking at to see is it useful or necessary in this moment? At some point, it was how our system survived, no doubt.
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah. But all we're doing now is rechecking, is it necessary in this moment?
Yes, now I'm able to check it with myself, but a few years ago,
Exactly.
was-
So yes, so beautiful. So whatever brought you to that point, and I would say almost for sure, more layers will come up.
Mm,
But you've learned, and you now have a skill set of being able to,
Yeah.
if something gets touched, you can look for yourself and see, okay, wow, something's coming up. Is it an actual snake, or is it a rope? Yeah,
now it's easy. Yeah, now it's easy.
yeah, yeah. And so, we might have many layers of that, and who knows, like, and in some sense, to me, it seems like we never asked for a trauma. It has nothing to do with us. We find
Mm.
ourselves with it, so to speak. And of course, if it's troubling us, we want to find some way of dealing with it. And whatever works, I'd say fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question too. I don't know if it resonates with you. No, basically, there's just an interest in being here, simply, gently present. Not getting anywhere, not it's like, and obviously, if there's old information that's in the way of that, of course, whatever assists for that to discharge and gives us a greater capacity to just be here. Fantastic. For me, what I've noticed over the years is that when trauma gets touched and the whole nervous system is functioning from a survival perspective, we don't have access to our cortex. Everything is just going through the reptilian brain. It just wants to survive. If you ask somebody that's touching a trauma vortex, what about love and peace? I'll tell you to fuck off. Not interested.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
my experience too.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any love or peace. It was like, know my story. Only anger and fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
you can see
I grew
that's fight or flight, Anger and fear is
Yeah.
fight or flight. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So in
somebody
that moment,
telling you, look,
Yeah.
somebody at that moment tells you it's not real, you'll tell them to piss off.
Yeah. Yeah.
The system can't hear it then.
And I when I've heard just let it go, I couldn't let it go. I wasn't able to do it. So
Exactly.
that's why my question. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see, there is no I that can let it go. Because it's not there is no I that actually, there's just the nervous system automatically trying to survive.
Mm.
And until that's dealt with, of course, nothing else makes sense.
Mm.
And unfortunately, you know, when somebody has set themselves up as a guru or something and they tell you just let it go, then it brings in shame on top of it and guilt and all of the other things. It's not helpful.
Yeah.
Well-meaning but confused.
Thank you for this.
Thank you for the question.
Nice.
Thanks for saying hello. Eva. Hey, Eva.
Hey, Isaac. Hmm. I like you to hear you talking like this.
Mm.
My whole being is like melting. Hmm.
It's just touching what you know, that's all. Just speaking your words or your knowing. Yeah. It's like, you know, this interest in truth and love. It's such a love affair, and there's so many ways that we can get on the wrong track so easily. You know? I mean, I see when people have this idea of getting somewhere and clearing up, you know, like cleaning up or clearing up, or it's so different than recognizing, okay, something's going on in me. I didn't ask for it. It's playing unconsciously. And there's a deep interest to bring it to peace. It's not that I have to do that to get to be awareness. It's just a recognition. There's something playing unconsciously. Great. Let's take a look. Let's bring it to consciousness. Doesn't mean anything about me. It's just old information. So
Yeah. And what stays is love.
so that's the basis.
Hmm.
So interesting, because even when we speak about love, you know, we have romantic love, falling in love, or it's and this kind of love, unconditional loving. It's a different galaxy. It's a different.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Think.
Hello.
Aye.
There's a lot of triggering. The system is triggered.
So, okay, that's noticed. Yeah.
It's noticed,
That's
yes.
yeah, that's noticed. Yeah, and so
Yeah.
then usually there's some interest or wanting to do something about it.
Yes. Also,
So,
yeah.
so just the noticing the system is triggered. You never asked for it to be triggered. It just got triggered. Something triggered it.
Yeah.
And this, you don't, that urge to want to do something about it
Mm-hmm.
which we could say is very common. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's just an urge that comes up. And so then we can explore, does that urge in any way help, or does it make trouble? You're
I
just
don't know.
looking at it. Yeah, don't know. And so now we
When
can just
when you
just
have an
look.
urge, then it doesn't help, but when you're gentle, then it could help.
Yeah. So
Maybe.
we can see,
So
yeah, so we can see now there's already some making distinctions, and already your system has calmed down a bit.
yeah.
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 And we didn't do anything really. We just said, okay, look, usually when there's a level of triggering or discomfort or not being at ease, however we want to describe that, automatically there's how do I get away from this?
Yeah.
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 And so,
Yeah.
and that movement to try and get away from it, it in my view, it doesn't help. It just adds another layer to it, you know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's not like it's not like there's no interest. It's just like that when it goes down that road, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can also see that. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, then it's during this meeting, then it's calming down a bit, and then
Yeah.
it comes up a bit, and then it's calming down a bit, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a way, that's a natural learning cycle. You know, like if you look at a baby, if they ever like they want to explore the world, and if something happens and they feel unsafe, they'll go back to where they feel safe. One of the carers, one of the parents, or somebody that they feel safe with, and they'll resource. And the moment they feel resourced again, they go out to explore again. It's a natural learning cycle, you could say it like that.
Yeah. And the triggering might have to do with my son.
Okay.
He went down in a big depression during the Christmas holidays. So he's really struggling with school, and he is diagnosed with some form of autism, but he's longing for social contact, but it's really hard for him. It's not automatic. And yeah, for many of us, it's not automatic. So I don't know his level of autism, what it says, but
Well, wow, I just saw something that was really profound. Just don't recall it at the moment, Hank. It's just like if it comes to me, I'll send it to you. But you know, autism is really on the rise at the moment, and it's been linked to Roundup, you know, glycophosphate.
Okay.
There's a very it's like and there are things that can be done about it that are not these heavy duty medicines or anything like that. But you know, so it's beautiful. Of course, as a parent, your heart wants to meet him and wants to assist in whatever way it can.
Yeah.
So one of the nuances that's worth exploring is if in any way, like, you know, some from, I would say, the filter that his system is looking through, it feels like there's something wrong with him. And it's so easy to go into agreement with that in some way, that there's something wrong with him. And if it's possible to say, okay, I know it feels that way, I get it, and I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing that.
you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
of course. And then,
yeah, I'm
it's like,
also explaining that just this stress system just works automatically, and
yeah,
I can see that he receives that information and that it calms
fantastic.
him down a bit. And
Of
yet at
course.
the same time, there's also a layer that, oh man, it's not okay.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, and it's
I really get it.
both. Yeah, yeah. So
You
yeah,
know, it
and I can
might be
also
worth,
see the
yeah,
yeah the 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 resistance in this system.
yeah.
And it's not that I did that, but yeah, that's also something that's there. And yeah,
It's like, I mean, I just tell you what I've seen. I wish I could remember more at the moment, but it was like autism was 1 in about 30,000 about 50 years ago. Now it's about
yeah,
1 in 30. It's like,
yeah,
and it's linked very much to the use of this glycophosphate to grow food. And but there are some things that you can do that really make a difference. If I find it again, I'll send it to you because
okay, thanks.
I have an interest in that stuff and I look at a lot of things, but I don't always remember exactly.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm not really convinced that he has autism. I can see that he is socially struggling and
yeah.
struggling with
I don't
society.
believe in these labels also in some
No,
ways. But
no,
it's like again, if he's socially struggling and there's anything that can assist that, like yeah, because so much is we're exposed to Wi-Fi.
yeah.
We have
Oh man,
chemicals in our bodies now that didn't even exist 50 years ago, and we've got hundreds of them in our bodies.
yeah,
So it's like, and some systems are much more sensitive to those than others, and like there's been studies with kids that just were out of control. They could not sit still at school. They were in trouble all the time. And they took away just things that triggered food items that would, normal families eating relatively good diets, but their kid was allergic to something in their diet that sent them
mm,
off the wall. The moment they took them out, they started behaving absolutely normal. And no amount of punishment or no amount of anything could stop it. It was just the system was not balanced.
yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, he's living abroad, or not abroad. He's living not with me.
mhm,
So yeah, he lives at himself. He's 18,
okay,
but
yeah,
yeah, so I can't do very much. Uh,
yeah. And there's love. That's all. There's love, and
yeah,
there's wishing him well. And
yeah,
of course,
yeah,
if you find something that really resonates for you,
yeah,
you might find a way to communicate with him.
yeah.
Yeah,
I do that. Yeah,
yeah,
and I
but,
see also that I
yeah,
am restricted. Yeah,
yeah,
or yeah,
yeah.
and it's not that I
Yeah,
choose for that, but yeah,
yeah. I
it's
understand. We live
it
in
helps.
we live in challenging times, my friend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh man, and all this scrolling in these short videos on the iPhone, on the
Mm.
phone, and the YouTube, and he's
Mm.
oh yeah, and he does that the whole day only. Yeah, that's
It's
also
addictive. It's very
it's
addictive.
very addictive. Yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah.
And it's entertaining.
Yeah, it's therefore it's addictive. Yeah, that's the addiction. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's it, and it's not wrong, but if that's the only
No, for sure.
thing
It
you
has
do
an
in the
effect.
day, then
It does have an effect on the nervous system, no doubt.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's doing nothing without a constant stream of information in your brain.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's not really doing nothing. Yeah, it's not calming down. Yeah, but as a parent, I can say that, and yeah, of course, he won't listen to that.
No,
No.
that's not so easy to listen to.
No.
Yeah.
But thanks very much for it helps sharing. Yeah, without doing anything.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Henk.
Yeah.
Ah, Sundari. Hi.
Hi. I think there's one question comes up. I mean, if you feel that there's some trauma coming up in your family, what can you do to help? Is it just to keep quiet, or because there was a lot coming up when I was traveling with my family, and it's just how to be in that.
Again, I don't think there's a formula, but what I do know is that when trauma comes up, usually it has with it this feeling that survival is threatened.
Yeah.
So what's happening is that the system actually feels like it's going to die, and so what assists is when there's some sense of safety. In other words, there's no wanting to change anything. There's no wanting to fix anything. There's just space, you could say, and the sense of loving presence.
Okay.
And it's so quick that something in us, especially if it's parents or something that where it touches some old information in our system, that both systems are triggered at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's very common. I can just say it like that's in intimate relating, also in family dynamics.
Yeah.
And so again, I don't know if there's a formula, but I know that in this journey, when I noticed, like with Micah, where both systems were triggered, we would just say, listen, let's take a time out. I'm not leaving you. I just want to allow the system to calm down. Because if two triggered systems interface, you could say it goes a bit, two systems that are trying to survive doesn't work so well.
No.
And the moment, like through just resourcing or allowing my system to calm down, or this is to calm, then I could come back.
Yeah.
And same thing in her. Then we could come back and we could see it from a completely different place.
Yeah.
So that maybe is useful, maybe not, but that has helped me. I could say it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but then in this case, I could not really, I don't know, I couldn't lie down because it was in the airport and it was just,
Yeah, like I say, there's no formula. There's a noticing, okay, there's a triggering right now. And, of course, there's a wanting to calm things down and to, not escalate it.
No.
But it's not always easy. So being as gentle as you can, and when you have a moment, just breathing, whatever way you have of resourcing yourself. Basically, resourcing just means can be looking around, finding something that's beautiful to you, can be breathing, can be just even holding yourself, whatever, it's just simple things.
Yeah, because there was this seeing that I know my father, he was very triggered when he's in the airport, and then he's just totally in alert. And then I just wanted to get my suitcase, and I mean it was a very small thing, and I didn't want to agitate him, but even saying that was just like, oh my God, and everything was just like hell was loose. Just saying his name, I couldn't even take I couldn't take the suitcase. I could do nothing. It would be triggered anyway. I couldn't. So it's just in this system, it was trying not to trigger. But I couldn't, there was nothing to do.
Sometimes it's like that.
So, yeah. But, a lot of triggering, I mean. just watching it, but being able to watch it, that was just to not get into it. And just to let it do whatever it's doing. It's just really a relief. I mean, that you don't have to go into it yourself. You can just watch it.
You see what's happening, you recognize it.
Okay. But also then not to go into these stories. I mean, that before I did that, to go into these stories and tell me I'm not okay or whatever. That now I did it again, or this happened again, or these stories we go into. But,
something is learning, something is, it's beautiful to see.
And there was also, before going there was a lot of fear coming up actually, and I mean, I don't know where it came from, but to go and be with them was very fearful, and then but it was not real at all. Nothing happened.
There's that old joke, if you think you're enlightened, just go spend a few days with your family.
And it was a big family. I mean, many people together interacting and being together for like 14 days is a long time. I mean, and if you're abroad, I mean, it's and South Africa also, I mean, it's can't bring up stuff that you're there. It's so different from what I don't know. So, but I'm so happy I went there anyway. just to also face it. I mean, to face this unreal. Yeah, it was.
You know, when I saw your photos when you were in the game park. For me, whenever I, somehow being around the animals like that was somehow really put things in perspective. There's
Yeah,
an
it does.
elephant and the
Yeah.
lion, and like it's like you really, we're not. People are just small little things compared to an elephant or a lion or a leopard. You see, wow, it gives a different perspective, a different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the awareness of the animals. I mean, and they just so beautiful came to the house so close, and it was just, it was so blessing, such a blessing. Yeah, to feel the energy there was just, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So you get to see this. I don't know, but yeah. That is not really, it is not the same feeling that when you look at your family, and it's not the same. I mean, it's not this natural state when you're with them. It's just not that. I mean, yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, look, the people in Europe have all been through a war.
Yeah.
There's a lot that people carry, and they're just from that.
Mm.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, but still, there's love, and there's, but it's just different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Thank you.
Plus, you were the host, I think. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, beloveds.